sense now. How to wash your hair dry in the shower. Using the old herbal essences, the old sexed up shower gel for your hair, the old herbal essences. I used to go mad about that as a hairdresser. I mean, I wasn't trying to sell people shampoo, yeah, but like, maybe that's just body wash. But you know, don't strip your hair colour. Like, I do your hair colour and I do it nice, and then you go and use like herbal essences and strip it out at home. Like, thanks. Like, at least use it like a colour safe.
Hey guys, it's me, Kelly. Today I have a very special treat for you. I'm going to show you how to wash your hair dry in the shower. So here we...
So wait, how to wash your hair dry in the shower, she said. I'm confused. She's wearing a bathing costume. Is she going to be having a shower? Or is the hair going to be washed without water? Why are we in the shower? What's going on?
First you take any shampoo. Now
any
let me
shampoo.
give you a few guidelines for the shampoo.
Look at the amount of shampoo coming out.
Do not make it...
This is why I had pumps. This is why I had pumps, because chuffers like this. Like, if you give those... the amount of times, I tell you what, I used to go nuts for this in the salon. If the pumpies run out of thing, fill it up. Don't you dare get that bottle of shampoo and start tipping it into your hand like that. You need a little 5p piece, 10pp size. You lather and you work it, and you don't need to squeeze it all out in your hand like that. My flatmate Gilly as well, I used to go mad for the soap on this. I just like, you know, the soap, it covers, like, that's my money going down the toilet, down the basin. It's squeezing it all out in your hand. Get a pump on that. Philip, get a pump thing in your bathroom that dispenses a small, you know, and then fill those up with the pump. That's what I've got in my shower. I've got pump things that I've filled up with the shower gel. I'm not after the red wash I use, but like, I've just seen her do that.
Shampoo.
Look how much is in her hands.
pH shampoo, kind of like baby shampoo, or for color treated hair, things like that.
She's saying about colour treated hair. She's using Herbal Essence's body wash here.
You don't want a very harsh shampoo on this. First thing you do is you get a lot of the shampoo, put it on the inside of your hands,
Look how
and
much.
start to take your fingers and deposit just in a light layer the
from the
shampoo
root
all over your hair, and continue to rub it in your hands, and put a thin layer on all of your hair. Now the first time that you try to do this, it's going to be pretty hard, I'm sure, if you're not used to it, and you're going to use a ton of...
Because she's not using any sections or anything like that. If you want to get things all over your hair, then obviously, I mean, this is a hairdresser talking here, but we go in sections and we work our way through in sections. You don't just sort of... So this top bit's got quite a lot on, because that's the bit where you touched first with all of the stuff on, and then that lifted up, and then you got some underneath, then you got some on there, and like then you're touching it again here, so it's going on there again, and then, like, you know, it's just random at haphazard, isn't it?
Shampoo the first time, but don't be dismayed. You'll get used to this process,
Rubbing the back of her head,
and you'll use less shampoo the more you do it. In fact, you're going to be able to go longer.
Well, this is, of course, you're going to need to use a lot of shampoo because your hair is absorbent. Like, you know, certainly if you've been colour treating it like you have, so your hair is going to soak up that shampoo, so to speak, and then like you're going to, like, if you were using water, it would dilute it and spread it out, and then you'd start getting the lather, and it's that lather and the lathering and the massaging through, and obviously. Oh God, I'll tell you a funny story. When I very first started hairdressing, I was a junior and I'd never done anything. Yeah, never done anything. I shaved my own head and whatever, but never done anything. Went in this salon and I said, wash this lady's hair. And I was like, right at it. I was like, fair enough, I'll wash this lady's hair. And like, it's a posh salon I was working at, got my job as a junior. Telling them I didn't know anything, I want to learn. So wash this lady's hair. I went at it and I was like scrubbing her hair with, like, between my hands like that. Scrubbing her hair with the soap. They'd never taught me. They didn't tell me what to do. They just said wash her hair. So I was doing that, and I was like giving it a good go. And then at the end, it was all matted and like it was a nightmare. They had to, like, I didn't know. Like, someone should have taught me. There is a technique. All my juniors, all the people that worked in my salon got taught how to wash hair properly by me because I learned the technique proper. I could do a proper good head. Like, this is not like. It's the lathering and the, you know, the effrouage. It's called effrouage and petrissage, and she's not doing either of it.
Shampoos when using this technique. So after you get a very thin layer of shampoo all over your hair
Yeah?
to the ends. Just start to work it in.
Work it in. Work it into dry hair. So this is what I'm saying about stripping your hair colour. The way that hair colour works is you open up the outer layer of the hair, the cuticle, and you deposit molecules of hair colour into the cortex. And then they swell through the process. They sort of lock in, right? But we all know it doesn't lock in forever, is it? It's not that perfect. So your colour damaged hair, you're allowing this detergent in through the dry cuticle to access that, because your hair is, like I said, absorbent. Like it can, like, so you're allowing it deeper in, and it's going to strip the colour. It's going to attach to those colour molecules and say, I don't want to fucking get rid of these, detergent me. And then you're going to turn the water on and it's going to strip. Yeah. She's using what she said was shampoo, but it looks like body wash to me. It says Herbal Essences Body Wavy, so it might be shampoo for body and wavy hair, but she hasn't got wavy hair that's full of body. Maybe it will create body full wavy hair. I don't know which way around it is, but her hair type is fine, colour treated, so she's using the wrong shampoo.
My hair is still dry.
But who am I to tell her?
And you work it in. Oh, this feels so good.
I would be so frustrated as I could see she's got colour treated hair. If she was coming to me and having her hair colour done, and then she goes home and does this to her hair, I'd be so frustrated.
So good. And after you...
No, I'll tell you what you could do. Tell you what you could have done, is you could have done that with conditioner. And that would have been fine. It would have been good. It would have helped lock in the colour and really get into all these different parts. It might have left your roots a little bit heavy and greasy, because people find that with conditioners, but like, you can get light conditioners. Like, it would have been good to do that with a conditioner, or maybe even an oil. People went mad for that Moroccan oil, bit of a rip-off, considering argan oil, you know, it's just, don't get me started on that, but you know, you could work an oil into it in this way, a coconut oil treatment or something like that. I'd be happy with all of that, but doing it with a detergent is a bad move.
You have it worked in. Now, when I do this, a lot of
now
people
what she's
are
doing.
like, oh, you're damaging your hair. You're being so rough. I know this looks like I'm being rough on my hair, but
Rough isn't how you're damaging your hair here. What you're doing is you're rubbing it between your hands. So two things are happening. One, you're creating heat, friction, yeah? And the outer layer of your hair, the cuticle, is like tiles on a roof or scales on a fish. So they're overlapping little scales all along your hair, and you're creating friction and heat when you're rubbing it together. Yeah, you've got that soap on it, so you're working that soap underneath and in and around there, I suppose. Don't know whether that's good or bad, really. Probably bad. And then you're creating that friction, that heat, and you're damaging the cuticle layer, essentially. And also you're rubbing it up against, like you're matting it against itself, like dreadlocks, a little bit. So not everyone would want to do this. That's exactly the thing I did to that woman in the salon. It was a bad move.
really
I only did it once.
I'm doing this. I'm doing it fast, but I'm not pressing very hard, and I'm doing it gently.
Oh, okay.
So don't worry about my hair. It's gonna be okay. But this is an absolutely wonderful way to wash your hair dry, because it actually cleans your hair. Think of your hair like a sponge. If you fill it up with water and then put soap on it, you're not going to get much soap inside that sponge to clean it. Same thing.
But also, you don't get lots of dirt inside that sponge, do you? Inside that cuticle. What the fuck is this? Show me like images of. Show me the structure of the hair, you chuffer. What's going on with my images? Right. So you've got these layers. The medulla in the middle, we remember that because it's dull. doesn't do anything. Medulla, it's just dead. It's like this little tiny core in the middle. Ignore that, it's irrelevant. You've got the cortex, which is the inner layer, like the sponge, and that's where your hair colour goes. And even if you haven't coloured your hair, that's where the hair colour is. There's pigments called amelanin and phenolanin, and they exist in there. And that's what we strip out when we pull them out to lighten your hair. And the lighter ones, the smaller molecules, the bigger molecules come out first, the darker colours, and the lighter colours are smaller molecules, and they stay in a bit longer and are harder to strip. So that's why you go through the colour of brown, blue, black, that creates the brown. It strips out first, and then it comes to the orange attached to the yellow. You want that out before you get to the white blonde, but it's very hard to get to that final point because you're stripping right down to the bone, essentially. No bones. You're stripping right down to what's left in the cortex. You get to that through this cuticle layer, and as you can see, look, it's layered up like scales on a fish or tiles on a roof. It's actually here more layers than one. People might think there's just one layer, like tiles on a roof, but there's not. There's more layers than one. Like, you've got this layer, yeah? And when we colour the hair, we lift that up to get to the cortex. When you're washing your hair now, you're not lifting that up to get to the cortex. Like I said, your hair's absorbent, and it is. That cortex can absorb, like, if you're soaking it in something. That's how conditioners, that's why we leave them on, so they've got time to soak into that cortex, because they're protected by the cuticle layer, yeah? You can get really damaged hair, and like really damaged hair when the cuticle layer is completely worn out. You've got that damaged hair, haven't you? And like, but she's saying it's like a sponge, yeah? So if it is like a sponge and you're putting detergent on the... First of all, you're not lifting the cuticle, because you're not doing any process here to lift the cuticle before you colour. But you don't want... What you don't want... and it might work in this way, because... acids and alkalines, like conditioners are acidic and they smooth the cuticle, so maybe the alkalinity of the soap and the stuff will... I can't believe she's doing this. You're going to get through that cuticle layer into the cortex, and you're going to put detergent, and detergent works hydrophobic and hydrophilically, so it attaches to molecules, and then the end that's hydrophobic attaches to the molecule, and the end that's hydrophilic pulls away into the water. So when the water comes, it pulls away the molecules with it. And that's fine for dirt and stuff. All the dirt, like she's saying, you want to get it really clean. All the dirt, there is no dirt in the medulla and the cuticle. Sorry, there's no dirt in the medulla and the cortex in this part of your hair. Like, the dirt can't, there's no... It's protected by the cuticle layer. You need to clean the cuticle layer. Clean any bits... Nowadays, people say, like, cavemen had really clean hair, so that you don't need to use shampoo. Yeah, but cavemen didn't have to go through the atmosphere with, like, polycarbons burning in the atmosphere, did they? Car exhausts, oils. So you get that off the cuticle layer, and then your hair is clean. Or like your own sebum, your own sweat. We should be back. We should be back. We are back. Yeah. My obs just quit for a minute. I don't know why. Like, the program I'm using just had a little hiccup, but we are back, aren't we? Yeah. I was just saying that you get this sebum, your natural oils, and it flows down your hair, and it's okay for your hair to be a little bit self-naturally greased. And if you wash it too much, it goes into hyper production of sebum because you're washing it off so much. So it's counterintuitive sometimes, but that you could, like, after you've had a big day in the sun and a couple of days, your back of your neck where it collects most gets more oily, and you do want to wash your hair for that reason. And of course the natural smog and smoke in the air and dust and whatever attached to the cuticle, so you don't need to fill your cortex with detergent. In fact, that would be a huge mistake. And I don't know if you've ever noticed, right, but when you have your hair washed when you do colour with hair, you have your hair washed before the hair colour, and we don't put the... you can have your hair washed and we don't put the conditioner on it. We just do the wash, and we don't want to smooth that cuticle because we're about to colour it and get into that cuticle. And then at the end, we do a careful wash to get the colour off. I don't know if you've ever had that done. We emulsify the colour, and colour removes colour. So you carefully rinse that off. And at that point, I don't want my juniors or myself, I did a lot of hair washing myself until I got juniors. You don't want them to scrub and go hard, because the hair's in a very delicate state at that point until we do the conditioning layer at the end and close that cuticle down, and the blow dry, which really helps as well. Like, you know, you want to be careful so we don't go in for big, harsh, heavy detergent wash mid-process. We do it at the start to get it ready for the process. So unless she's going to be doing that process, or she's got a heavy conditioner coming, this is a huge mistake what she's up to. Where is she? Here she is.
It happens with your hair. It is like a sponge, and it's going to soak up whatever you put on it first. And if that's shampoo, wonderful. Then after you have this evenly distributed throughout your hair.
I mean, if you've got really bad dirt in your hair, like if your hair is soaked up some really bad, you know, if you've had it in dog poo or something, you really want to get that out, the cortex, you could do this. But as a rule, and it seems like she's got colour treated hair, as a rule this would be a no-no.
Then you start taking your hands and just put it under the water, just like this. I'm not cupping my hands, I'm not getting like a ton of water or anything like that. I'm just getting my hands wet. And you just start to kind
You're not washing off the shampoo either then?
touch your hair with your hands and get a little bit of wetness on it. And start.
So now what you're doing is you're aiding that process of it soaking in, because you're diluting like you've got the soap everywhere, and now you're diluting the soap, so it's going to sink it. Like, you're not rinsing it. Like when we rinse in the salon, like you probably say it's the same as what you're doing at home in a way, but the water's coming from one angle and it's going across. So you guide it and you go from top or root to tip, and you guide your way through. And like in a rough sectional pattern, you know, you open out the back and you guide it through. So because of course, as I just showed you, like scales on a fish, tiles on a roof, it comes down to a point at the end. So going the opposite way from tip to root would be like roughing up. You don't want to do that. You guide all the water through, and the water does the work for you. Sometimes you have to give it a bit of a efferage or petrissage to give it a bit of a rub through, you know, to get that water in and to allow it. But it's the water jet should be powerful enough to rinse that off, because as I've described, the soap is hydrophilic. The hydrophobic bits are attached to the dirt, so it wants to go into the water, and that's why you're doing that massage to create that lather, and then you rinse the lather off. So what she's doing now is not part of that process, it's something different.
Massaging. This is the best technique for washing hair that I have found. I used to own a salon.
Oh my god. She used to own a salon. If you used to go to her salon and she did this to your hair before a colour, good. But after a colour, or like the fact she's doing, she doesn't know what she's talking about. I used to have a salon. I'm telling you the science. Of course, she's not guided by science. She believes in Bigfoot. So she's just like randomising it. And this is a mistake. Like, she'd be fucking up your hair. Like, this is the worry with hairdressing. There's no, like, you can just do what you want, really, can't you? Like, in the UK, if you want to be a hairdresser, you don't have to have a qualification. You just have to have the money to open your own shop and put the thing above. I've got an MVQ level 4. It's not the highest qualification, but it's higher qualification in hairdressing. And it's not just about cutting, it's about all this other stuff as well. So.
And this is the way that we wash our hair in the salon that I owned. After I found out about this technique, this is not what you call an American technique. I haven't seen this in America, only over in Europe.
I know the only American techniques for washing hair would have come from the indigenous Indians, I'm assuming, because what you want about an American technique for washing hair? Like, we've been washing our hair for a long time before America started, and the salon style, the industry in hair may have developed some concepts, but again, like she said, French, like, people were doing hair in Europe in salons a lot longer than America in the modern form, and the people that settled there existed. Do you know what I mean? Like, like, we've been doing hair for a long time, yeah, and we've come to the scientific decision on how is best to wash the hair eventually, the scientific consensus, and she's made up her own version. I can't believe I managed to get so much reaction out of this, but it's really getting my egg as a former hairdresser. Former, I'm still I mean, I haven't cut anyone's hair for a while, but I'm still got my skills, you know. I'm not, it's like being a samurai. I'm still a samurai.
I don't know what they do anymore. The last 10, 15 years, I have no idea.
It hasn't changed in 15 years, and this is 10 years old, but it hadn't changed in. Like, I've got my grandmother's textbook, and since the 1800s, like, we've known about this basic stuff. Like, I'm thinking even before then, but this would have come around in the Industrial Revolution. You know, microscopes, stuff like that. We'd have known, and then the ideas in detergents. You know, detergent, for example, itself. Again, like Industrial Revolution stuff, isn't it? I mean, soap was a long thing, but okay, let me just quickly check. I need to just find out this now. When did shampoo start? I'm thinking Victorian. 1927 by Schwarzkopf. Fucking hell. 1927. Schwarzkopf created a soap-free liquid. I mean, that's incredible, isn't it? I thought it would have happened in the 1800s with the Industrial Revolution. But it's not. It's post-Industrial Revolution. Once people have got time and like free time, a bit of money, you know, stuff like that, you start to see these things exist in society. But like the 20s, so the flapper girls and stuff like that, they were the first people to be getting their proper hairdos done, weren't they? Then I'm saying, I thought that we had, like, there would have been a, like. There would absolutely have been people doing hair in Shakespeare's time and all sorts, cutting hair, like styling hair. Like, it's been going on for a long, long time. So don't give me that 1927 was the first, but the first modern take on shampoo then in a bottle. So we're talking fairly modern era. But like I say, that the concept has changed a bit, but the idea of using a liquid soap to create a lather and washing off since the 20s, you know, has been fairly consistent, I think. Conditioners, technologies might have improved, but do you know what I'm saying? Like, she's saying that, don't get me started.
Go, that's what they did.
Stinky Sock says, what's the best treatment for sore bumps on your noggin? It depends what they are. Like, I'm not in a position to diagnose because I can't see, but sometimes you can get infected hair follicles. Like, it sounds awful, but do you know what I mean? Like, might be a particular shampoo might be good for that, or it might be like some people get psoriasis or other forms of, like, you know, rash based thing. Maybe I'd have to have a think about it, you know. Like, I think it's more of a doctor thing, that maybe sore bumps on your noggin, than a hairdresser thing. I would also say if you're doing colour on your hair, it can sometimes not react, but maybe like colour burn. Like, some people get colour burns and it comes out as like a little blood blister or a blister, like sore bumps on the noggin. So there's lots of different reasons and whys. Or you could be getting bitten by insects, I don't know. Maybe a water change, maybe that. Yeah, the things about that is, again, you'd have to like isolate one thing and change it to see if it was, because it might be that it's something different entirely that you think is the water, but it might not be. So the only way to reason that out is to wash your hair in different water for a like 2-week period or something. Like, it's hard to pin things down, but yeah, I don't know.
You just slowly introduce water into your hair. Like so.
Now she's doing what you would normally do,
And
lathering it up.
a really good lather.
Yeah, but she's not doing that correctly. Again, see how she's rubbing the flat of her hand across her head here. She used to run a salon, she said, but she was rubbing the flat of her hand across here. So you use your fingers and you move in a circular motion around. Because she's making this mistake. Like, I can't understand that she said she was a hairdresser and she's making this fundamental error, which is you do this all the time and you get this top section, but the bit that's underneath, you're not reaching, are you? You know, any of this hair that's underneath, you're not reaching because you're just constantly going over the top section. So you do need to get in, under, and round and through. And like, it helps to section it, but running the flat of her hand across the top of her head.
Washing your hair. You know, that'd be a fun part. You get to give yourself a massage. So you can use your fingertips. For those of you that have nails, mine aren't that big, but I can still scratch my scalp with my nails.
There
I have
you
to
go.
be careful. So instead of having to massage my scalp with flat fingers like this, I just close my hands.
It's not just a massage, you actually do want to clean your scalp.
Use my knuckles. Scalp.
She's using her knuckles. I can't. I'm skipping.
And it also stimulates your scalp
Don't do this.
to promote more blood flow coming into the area. And in
Don't use your
turn,
knuckles.
not only is it relaxing and it feels really good,
Don't do that.
it stimulates your hair to start growing.
It doesn't stimulate your hair to start growing. That's ridiculous. What it will do is it will increase blood flow for a while, won't it? But the stimulus for your hair to start growing is a hormonal change, maybe, and also is heavily affected, in my opinion, but heavily affected by your diet and your lifestyle, really. Like, hair growth is about health from within. Hair growth starts in the follicle. Like, it doesn't start, like, these parts that you're rubbing are already, like, the hair is exposed and underneath is the follicle, and you're rubbing it with your knuckles. I don't see that as a magic suggestion from within for your hair to start growing. Your hair's already growing, but you want to make sure that the hair's got all the right nutrition it requires to grow well, haven't you? Like, that's important. It's from within. But yeah, carry on.
Just moving your scalp around. You don't realize how tense you are during the day until you go to wash your hair and you start to feel your scalp and it's
I'm not making this very fun for us, because this has touched a real eggy nerve for me. Because, you know, not going to reiterate, but former hairdresser, so it's touched a real eggy nerve for me.
Tense. This helps with that, to get some of that tension out of your scalp. You don't realize how it's not just your jaws or your shoulders when you're tense. It's also your scalp. It
Good
comes
one.
out there too. So give yourself.
If I was having my
really
hair washed in her salon, I would be tense.
massage. You deserve it. You deserve it. And when you're at a nice full lather, then we're going.
No,
to
she's like formed this ponytail. You see that? She's formed that big ponytail through rubbing it and constantly going over it. She hasn't pulled her hands through and created lots of smaller, like, you know, pieces of hair as she's pulled through and combed through. She's created one big matted ponytail, so she hasn't really got in and through and done a good job of cleaning this, but she has made sure that's really full and stuck together, full of soap to start with. So
Rinse this out.
it's going to be an interesting rinse.
Okay, here we go. When you rinse your hair after you've washed it, you want to thoroughly rinse it.
Yeah.
We have some different rules for conditioning than for shampoo, but I'll get to that in just a second.
Oh my god, she's going to condition as
this
well.
feels so
Why am I
good.
putting myself through it?
Oh, nice and warm water.
So it's not even right. It's called How to Wash Your Hair Dry in the salon, but she's actually washing it wet. She just applied the initial first
And
shampoo
make
dry.
sure that you tell your friends about this technique.
Don't tell
Especially
anyone.
if they say,
Well, tell people
"What
about my
have you
reaction
done to
video that
your
you might be
hair?
watching now.
Wow, it looks great.
Tell them that.
Your hair is going to be so shiny and lustrous and beautiful when you wash your hair with a set.
If you ruffle up the cuticle layer, what she's done to her hair in that process is to lift that cuticle layer as much as possible, I would suggest. And so that's going to give it the appearance of being dull and the opposite of shiny. It's not going to reflect light as well. So rough cuticle, dull hair, smooth. That's why when you heat treat your hair with the oh, it's all shiny now. Oh, heat treated, smooth down. That's why we want to blow dry at the end as well, to smooth that down with the heat treatment as much as possible. Yeah, the conditioner will do it with its pH and all that, but you know, if we physically work it and smooth it, that's why the irons are so good as a final treatment, in my opinion. Even if you don't like straight hair, after a colour treatment, I would quite like to give it, not the hottest iron, because I've just put fresh hair colour in there, but to smooth that cuticle quickly through, smoothly and quickly with a nice hot iron. I do think that's a good treatment. Has been since Victorian times. So, yeah. Where are you now?
Technique. If you don't use
Thank you,
stripping
Iona Kayo.
shampoo,
Thank you, Iona Kayo. First time chatter. I got 4 bits. Thank you for the bits. I appreciate it. I'm doing a weird... Like, we were playing Genshin Impact, and now I'm ended up watching this woman teaching us how to wash her hair, and she believes in Bigfoots. So I don't know how we got onto this, but thank you for the bits.
do not ever use a stripping shampoo.
People have asked me in the past, please do more hair content. Like, it has been a part of my life for like a great big chunk, and then I didn't do it anymore. I started making media, so it would be interesting to make more hair content. Maybe people are actually enjoying this little conversation about how to correctly wash your hair.
The shampoo that I'm using,
The shampoo that you're using is Herbal Essences.
and I have to tell you this, they're not paying me for this, is Herbal Essence. I use the body.
So if you're drawn into why you want to buy a shampoo because, oh, it smells nice, oh, doesn't that smell nice, oh, hasn't it got a good advert with all the sexy, they're in the advert on the sexy, forget that. They've got you, they've conned you, haven't they? They've got you on a tip psychologically and sensorily, and that's not the correct thing for your hair. Like, that's not scientifically, your hair doesn't need smelly mangoes, like, not scientifically. So trust me, the hairdresser, and say that I'm actually not too worried about which kind of hair shampoo you use if you haven't got coloured hair. If you're not colouring it, it's not so important, because it's going to do that job of being a detergent and stripping away the surface level of dirt, the only level of dirt, because it doesn't get deep into the cortex. But if you've got particularly oily, or if you've got, you know, particular different kinds of, you know, maybe you want a bit more body or whatever, there are different shampoos for that purpose. But overall, you know, shampoo's not as important. But if you've got coloured hair, it's mega important. And even as someone who doesn't try and sell shampoo or products, you know, I never sat someone down and said, oh, I've been using this special spray today, that's £20, why don't we put that in your bag as well? You know, I'm not trying to do that. But if I'm using Schwarzkopf hair colour and you want to know which shampoo to use, Schwarzkopf shampoo, because they make the fucking hair colour that I'm using. So you would think their colour safe shampoo is going to be the best colour safe shampoo for their fucking hair colour, wouldn't it? So I would suggest Schwarzkopf colour safe shampoo for my Schwarzkopf hair colour that I was using. Or if you go to a different salon and they're using Weller colour, I would pick the Weller colour safe shampoo. And that's not me trying to flog you a shampoo. This is the only time in the world of hairdressing that I will recommend a product. And it's no particular product. It's whichever brand fits best with the colour that you've used on your hair to keep it colour safe, because you don't want that to strip and wash out. And most shampoos are going to do a job of, as she's just been doing, stripping and washing out. So like, you know, when we try to strip hair, when hair's got loads of colour, the first thing I do with clients, before I put on chemicals and before I start using, like, you know, colour stripper AB or bleaching it, the first thing I do, if they're like, I really need to get this red out of my hair or whatever, is I put them in and I use like the cheapest, strongest dog washy detergent shampoo I can, like just cheap brand from Sally's, and I see if it will start stripping, because usually a strong detergent shampoo can start pulling that colour, like I say, like she's doing to her own hair. So I wouldn't go for Herbal Essences. In fact, I'd try it with Herbal Essences and see if that would start to strip, because it probably would. It's a gimmick about smell and luxury. It's not a scientific choice for your colour. Carry on.
The Envy volumizing shampoo, and when we get around to it, the Herbal Essence body Envy the conditioner.
Right, so a volumizing shampoo, I'm a bit, I was told you I would recommend colour shampoo, yeah? A volumizing shampoo I'm a bit sceptical of, because what you're going to do is you're going to put this stuff on your hair, it's going to attach to the detergent, the detergent is going to attach to the dirt, we're going to wash it off, yeah? That's the process, we're going to wash it off. So how would it volumize your hair? How would it make your hair thicker or more voluminous, like a product would, unless it was leaving some trace or residue? We don't want that. We're trying to wash it off. Remember, it's the shampoo. So we don't want it to do that. Or the other aspect is, if you've got thin hair or fine hair, you might find that a thick, heavy shampoo, you find it difficult to wash off. And at the end, you've got maybe a little bit of residue you didn't realise, and it makes your hair sit and feel greasy. That happens with conditioner as well. I would argue that no conditioner makes your hair feel greasy and lank, even if you've got fine hair. It's the not washing it off fully and not fully getting that. And because conditioners are designed to maybe leave a bit of residue in a coat, like I said, like on the outer layer for that purpose, some of them. So I would argue it's the not washing it off properly. But with shampoo, we definitely want to wash that off. So what they've probably done is they've taken a normal shampoo and they've diluted it so that it's thinner, so that when you use it on your fine hair, you don't use as much soap and it makes it feel less claggy, and then you wash it off easier. So that's my guess as to what volume shampoo is. I don't understand where the product aspect would come in, because as a hairdresser, I'm using it to wash things off. So if you're putting product in it, how is that? Like, if I've got gel on my hair and I use shampoo, the gel is removed by the shampoo. So if I put gel in shampoo and wash my hair, it all comes off as a big mess anyway. I don't buy that myself, but yeah.
And on the back, I just have to laugh at this. Where is this? They put like little jokes on there. Crap, where is that one? Oh, just for a minute. Oh, there it is. Okay. What is the most popular sport played in nudist colonies? And then it's got the answer on the conditioner. Is volleyball.
So they put little things like question that again. That would be a pointer to me to not buy that shampoo, because if they're putting little random jokes and things on it, like, you know, I'm not trying to. Like, I take my hair quite seriously. I take my clients' hair very seriously, and little jokes don't come into it when I'm like. Tell me about how effective the shampoo is and what ingredients it's got in and how they're going to work. Don't tell me a joke about nudists, because it feels like you're trying to distract me from the fact you're selling me fairy liquid in a great big smelly bottle.
Oh wait, they've got one on here too. Okay. What gym is thought to improve your love life? And the answer is on this one. It is diamonds. Anyway, I thought that was just way cool. Herbal Essences. It's a wonderful shampoo. Any bodybuilding shampoo that's a good quality is going to work. It doesn't have to be Herbal Essences.
Okay, and I would argue that if you can buy it in the supermarket, then it's not going to be like some super duper, like she said, of a good quality. Like what the salon brands do, and this is not good. I don't think they should do this. Again, I don't try and sell products in my salon, or never did. You know, I had them, you could buy them, but I'm not going to try and push them on you, yeah? But what they tend to do is they make something higher end, a bit more expensive, with a bit more, like, you know, you've seen all this L'Oreal stuff. I don't even know what they're up to these days, but, you know, these clever things that go in, and then they put it on the supermarket shelves in a sort of cheaper, more diluted form. So in any aspect, Herbal Essences, as good as it can be, if it was really top level salon stuff, they'd have a salon version, a salon brand, and most of these things have that, don't they? So I would argue that she's saying, like, you know, any old volume shampoo that you can get in the supermarket is going to be good. I would argue against that, and I'd say any old volume shampoo you can get in the supermarket might not be good, might just be dressed up dog wash. And if you actually want a professional shampoo to deal with an aspect of your hair, then you're probably going to want to go to the, you know, the companies that specialise, and they put those specialised items in salons. And they do that because it's a marketing trick that makes you have to go to the salon and spend more money and get your hair done and, you know, have this spray as well and all that. But they do it. They don't just put their best stuff on the supermarket shelf. They hold it back for the salon. Sorry about that.
The reason that I use that one is it smells so darn good. So squeegee your hair out.
So whatever it is they put in there to make it smell good, that she really likes, is some sort of chemical, isn't it? Like, I would argue that you don't want the chemicals to make your hair smell good. You want the chemicals to clean it properly, and like whatever chemicals it is that makes it smell good might not even be good for your hair. I don't even know. It might be great for your hair. It might not be though. So coconut oil treatment, like when you get the coconut and, you know, the thick stuff, and you put that on, like it ends up making your hair smell like coconut. But it does a good treatment for your hair. So, like, you know, give and take. You might like coconut. For me, they all try and make their shampoo smell nice. They've all got some element of parfum in it. But for me, a good shampoo is, it's irrelevant what it smells like. It's how it finishes the hair. And at the end, you've washed it off, and your hair shouldn't still smell of whatever smell that shampoo is strongly giving. Like, during the experience, people enjoy, oh, it smells nice while I'm having my hair washed, all minty and all this, like, you know, conditioner that tingles, whatever. But at the end, your hair shouldn't then smell of the residue of the shampoo, because you're onto stage, the second stage is conditioning. You rinse that off as well. The third stage is, doing the blow dry and production with, like, at that stage, if it smells nice, like, I remember Hard to Get by Bedhead smelled lovely. People love that. Spray that everywhere. It still smells nice because that's the final stage. But the shampoo and that's going to get washed off. So it's just about your experience while you're having the shampoo that you're getting to enjoy that. So really, you'd be better off washing your hair with a non-scented shampoo and spraying some perfume in the air for you to enjoy.
I don't pull. I know a lot of people do this with their hair. Don't do that. Twist it and like.
Okay, I do wring hair out. You certainly can, but squeezing it out that way as well was actually okay, because you're running down, as long as you're not going back up the cuticle. And at this stage, you can wring it out, but be careful you're not. Again, that's just putting stress and tension. You know, it's just putting that through it. You can do it, you know, wring it out, but it's a choice. It's not necessarily the best choice.
Use it like this, because when your hair gets wet, it is more flexible, and you're going to be able to pull your hair more like a rubber band, I guess.
Your hair has elasticity. When it gets wet, it becomes more elastic. I don't know if that's necessarily true. In fact, I don't even think that's true. I think hair has a natural elasticity, and you can, like, if you take one hair out and hold it up and do that, you can stretch it to a point and it will stretch back if it's healthy. Big ups, first time chat, hashtag clickbait. Am I clickbait? Why? Because I'm in Genshin Impact. I've finished playing Genshin Impact for a bit now. We've been playing it tonight, but I didn't change it. Do you want me to change the... Do you want me to be in... I'll change it if you want. I don't mind. Change... What is it? Category to just chatting. I'll probably get more viewers changing the category, so... Yeah. We play... Like, if I just turn this off, look, Genshin Impact is behind it. Like, I've been playing... It's just that... We got onto watching some videos. You know, it's just random, isn't it? Streaming. Sorry about that.
Is how your hair becomes when it's wet. So you have to be very careful with wet hair not to damage it. So I take the conditioner then and just work it in my hair after I have...
Okay, she's doing this the wrong way around as well. So you take the conditioner and you work it from root to tip. This time, it might sound counterintuitive in a way, but I start at the end. And, like, you know, your hair's a bit more matted a little bit because you've been doing this wash process. Because you're combing essentially and separating the hair. So when you do that, you start at this end, not this end. If you start at this end, what you're doing is you're pulling any knots through and into the hair and getting stuck. So to comb your hair through at the end with the conditioner, I'd put the conditioner on my hands like she did with the shampoo at the start, and I would work from ends up like this. And as I go up, it would separate out and be beautifully combed through. And when I get to the top, at your roots, I'm going to be careful, depending on your hair type, but I'm going to be careful not to overload that with a lot of conditioner, because I don't need your roots to be overloaded with conditioner. The bits that need more conditioner are down here, where it's more open naturally, because it's been out in the elements more, it's more damaged. And your roots are the freshest, newest bit of hair that have just grown. In fact, unless we've been colouring your roots, you know, if we've been doing foils and stuff, you might not have it right in at the touching your head. You do what you want them close, but do you know what I mean? Unless I've been colouring your roots, like, it doesn't need as much conditioner because we've not been doing as much strong colouring on it. And so your roots are also virgin hair, so when you do colour, you don't have to use as much strong chemicals to make that hair react. So quite often we've done a more mild colour process on your roots. So you work this through from ends up, and as you get to the roots, you want it to be less overloaded with conditioner, because at the end, when you wash it off, if you've overloaded with conditioner, it's going to feel heavy and weighed down and, you know, claggy and stuff. So she's doing the opposite of what you need to do again, and she's applying it by hand across. So this top part of her head is going to be really, you know, thick in at the roots, and then when she tries to drag it through, it's going to get stuck about here, and the ends aren't going to get conditioned properly unless she applies more to the ends. So now you're applying more conditioner than you need to.
Easy it and squeeze it out. Now on the conditioner,
Look at her rubbing
I
it.
know this is mainly about shampoo, but I wanted to give you a little information about conditioner also. If you use the bodybuilding one, it will give you body if you don't wash it all out. That's the key. So when you rinse your hair after you have the conditioner...
But if you use the bodybuilding one, you do want body. So the key is to get body. She said it will give you body if you don't wash it all out. Well, if you wash it all out, then you get no benefit. Unless in some way it's swollen the cortex at the root level, that area of the hair, then that will give it some oomph. Here's another Scott's top tip that will make you crazy, right? You know those thinning scissors they have, the thinning shears, and you know they thin through the and they get all these, like, sometimes they overdo it and you get all these random split ends everywhere because they've been thinning it, over thinning it. But if you get a thinning shear, right, and you go in at the root and just go carefully, not over and over again, because each time you do it, you're cutting loads, you know, 50%. But what you do is you create a very short bit of hair at the root. Not loads, so you, like, got short hair, but in amongst there's one or two shorter hairs. And those hairs push up, don't they, because they're shorter. And that creates this oomph from the root. If you do it all over in a measured way, in the right way, you know, you need to be shown how to do that probably, but you can use the thinning shear to actually create volume, and it's a bit magic. With someone with thin hair, with fine hair, you don't want to go over and thin all their hair. You've got to be careful, but if you do it in the right way, looking at where the hair falls, and think about it, you can create a bit of oomph at the root with the thinning shear. So that's a little Scott's top tip there. Because it's all about creating that oomph at the root.
Let me show you how to rinse it.
If you've got fine hair and you want that body.
I hope you can see me. I hope I've got this at a good angle where you can see what I'm doing to my hair. I'm just putting a little bit of water over the top
Hopefully just
and
rinsing
letting
it through,
run
like,
down,
yeah,
and then taking my fingers
guiding it away
and
from your eyes maybe
I'm
is probably a good idea.
squeezing gently on my scalp. And then
So again, she hasn't separated any of that, you know, she hasn't sectioned any of this. You've got all the hair that comes to a natural ponytail here. That's all in one big thick chunk. So really what you've done is you've conditioned the outer surface of all of this, but the inner surface of all of this hair hasn't really been conditioned properly. And I would argue it's not even been rinsed through when she did the rinse for the wash. I would guess that's still got some soap in it. You can see from the colour of the squeeze, when she squeezed it, the colour was not running clear. The final process involves you to rinse until it runs clear, and then you know.
squeeze it out. And that's it. You don't want to rinse all the conditioner out of your hair. Your
Yeah,
hair's
you
going to
do.
be dry and brittle and flying away
No.
and all that. You get
No. It's not the conditioner. Like, the conditioner is going to smooth that cuticle down, and it's going to hopefully, if it's good, have done some work in that cortex maybe. You know, a little bit of oil, like your oil-based stuff and your hair go together. Do you know what I mean? So like the oil can, some of that oil can get into the cortex. If you've got a heavy oily conditioner, it will make your hair feel heavier, and that's not what you necessarily want. But that's what it's going to do. It's not that you leave a layer on your hair and you feel conditioned. It's that it acts on it because its pH value is acidic, and that smooths down the cuticle. So people have used home remedies like vinegar and all sorts of stuff that stinks, but it will smooth the cuticle. So like, you do want to wash it off, and then at the end, if you want to use further products to give yourself more volume or this or that, then you use those other products then on the finished best. Like, hopefully at the end of that process, the conditioner, the drying as well, if you dry it with a brush, you know, and keep going from root to tip and down through it like that without staying too close on one place too strong and too long, and even using the cool, you know, your hairdryer's got that cool trigger. Why does it go cold? I don't want cold hairdryer. Yeah, the final bit you do cold and it seals it. So yeah, you do that, and then you're at your best then, and then the product can do its work on top of that. I tend personally to see if I can get my best work out of the physical blow drying, you know, maybe get some oomph at the roots and all that. If I can get it out the blow dry, then I can get it. If I can't, I'm not going to then start putting loads of shit in your hair to try and make it happen. I feel like it has to be, you know, part of the process that I've just described. But certainly I would wash the conditioner off.
nothing out of your conditioner if you wash it all out. You want to leave just a little bit in.
No, you
So
don't.
what I usually do to keep the conditioner on my hair is put it up while I'm taking the rest of my shower.
Okay, here's a mistake. She says she's going to put this up now while she takes the rest of her shower. What I would say is if you're going to condition your hair and then take the rest of your shower, put the conditioner on at the start, take the shower, and then rinse it off. So it's had a long time to seep into that cortex, you know, to do its good work, to smooth down that cuticle layer. But now to wash it off, rinse it off. Okay, she's leaving some on, but maybe by mistake in the wrong... Maybe she's going to leave that on forever. But I would suggest that it's a good idea to do it at the start and then do your... Yeah.
And
But I wouldn't put a towel
I
on
put in a towel and I finished the rest of my shower.
if you're going to have a shower.
So I hope you enjoyed learning how to wash your hair dry, taking a shower with me,
It's not dry.
and finding how to do all that. If you got any questions, let me know. I've done this video before and got about 14,000 views before it got deleted. So I hope you like this video. Pass it on.
Before it got deleted. So I'm guessing YouTube used to get... Because she's kind of got a, you know... I think she probably did a previous one where she was a bit more exposed maybe, and that got deleted. I don't see why How to Wash Your Hair Dry would get deleted, but this one only got 1,000 views 6 months ago though. She's my new favourite nutter. Should we subscribe to her? Subscribed, battery exhausted. And finally, for tonight, we'll watch probably Hello Moon after this, because this is going to do my head in as well. ASMR Life in Nature. This was uploaded a month ago. And it's an insect, which is quite off-putting. Not very ASMR.